Oh god, sorry. I missed my transition because I'm tangled up in my chair. What the hell is happening here? Stop it. Let me out, chair. I don't want to... God, what the freaking hell? I'm tied to the desk. Okay. Well, and now my head... My headset's... I need a do-over. Alright, we're having a do-over. What the freaking hell, headset? What are you doing with your life? Why are you tangled up around this freaking chair? God damn it. Hold on. Okay, let's try this once more, but doing it right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Much better this time around, now that I'm not tangled up in my headset. Welcome to the third and final game of the night for our I-League coverage. I'm Zyori, slated to solo cast once again, and here for our final game, we've got Navi US facing off against Team Power of Friendship, or as they're tagged up here in the client, Mario on the One. And that team is Mario, Way Too Sexy, Infinity, Degenerate, and then 3 exclamation points. Uh-oh. And Navi US, it is their full roster. Brax, Korok, Fogged, 1437, and Snake King. And this is actually a round 2 matchup. Navi US has already won their first round, so today is the beginning of the A bracket second round in. So I think this is the round of 64, if I'm not completely mistaken. But there's still a lot of teams, still best of 1, and of course, still single elimination. So let's just hop right on into our draft ski here and take a look at what's going on here. And, whoa, what do you know? Faceless Void and the Skywrath Mage opener for all Navi US. Looks like they'll go ahead and third pick the Pugna as well. Sorry we got into this draft a little bit late. I had a slow start. Some tech issues IRL here, but a very scary opening for this Radiant side. We saw the off-lane Faceless Void on the Radiant last game, and how well it can work. He struggled a little bit, but I don't think that's just because of the Void. It's more so it was just a team mismatch and all that kind of shit. But anyhow, Radiant off-lane Void, very good stuff. We'll get that early poor man shield, and it'll be all good. So, Skywrath Pugna, plenty of damage to dump into the Chronosphere. Might be a game where he just wants to go for that Ag Scepter, so they have that huge ultimate on such a short cooldown, and they can just team fight after team fight. Mario on the One. Earthshaker. Oh my god. Earthshaker and Shadow. Sorry, I'm watching the delayed instant replay of me getting one-upped by my headset. Jesus. Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, though, the opener for Mario on the One. The Shadow Shaman on Dire is something I always go back to. A much higher win rate on the Dire side because of the Roche control. You can use the Mass Serpent Wards to take down Roche very easily. And the 2 support opener. The problem with opening with those 2 supports that really only play support is you don't have that same level of flexibility, and that's a little bit unfortunate. The Pugna pick might have been a bit of a deny pick here as well. Earthshaker Pugna is a really scary duo. You can decrep and then hit an easy fissure and then hit him with a Q from the Pugna, and that's a lot of damage, especially if paired with the Shadow Shaman. That's a really scary killer tri-lane. So maybe a bit of a deny pick, then also a hero that works well with the Faceless Void here from Navi US. Dire side, the Power of Friendship, they will opt for the off-lane Nature's Prophet. And they thought about it quite a bit. Wow, burned a lot of their reserve time. And that's part of the reason I think that could have actually been a deny pick Pugna, throwing them off their game a bit. They will have their off-laner now, and that means Mario on the One will be left needing a carry as well as a mid-hero. So, what are we looking at here? I guess some of it will depend on what Navi US do with this pick. Probably a Wraith King here. Okay.
Dire team.
So it looks like Navi US gearing up for a tri-lane of their own. I don't know how Navi US like to run these particular heroes. Skywrath, Pugna, and Wraith King are 3 heroes that all can be very flexible in terms of how they lane, support, and mid, position 1. But we're going to hold that thought as there's a Medusa on the field. That's a Medusa. That's the Gorgon. Wowza, you really don't see Medusa often. She was actually one of the heroes that I pegged to not be picked at TI, and somebody did pick her.
10 seconds remaining.
But I think you struggle to make a case that Medusa is quite powerful right now. The takeaway that I have from this draft so far from the Dire side is they're going to be difficult to push into. Medusa, very good at holding the high ground. Stone Gaze, only a 90-second cooldown. And pretty good for turtling up. Mystic Stake, not so bad. Even the split shot, just good for when the opposition are trying to break the high ground. Rasta Ward's a similar story. And the Echo Slam as well. And just the nature of the Earthshaker with his fissure. Very good turtly heroes. The question is, will this Medusa ever be able to really hit critical mass? Medusa is pretty much the hardest carry there is, one of the best rapier carries, and scales very, very well with items, but it just takes her so damn long to get there. She's so slow. She's like molasses reincarnated into a green lady with snakes. She's a scooter. She's a scooter with a broken wheel, scooting around, trying to find some money. Nyx Assassin, final choice here for Na'Vi. So I really don't know how Na'Vi are going to lane this, and that's one of the great things about this draft is they have plenty of damage to dump into the Chrono. They could do something like an off-lane Nyx, position 1 Void, and then a support Skywrath and Wraith King with a Pugna mid. They could do a Pugna position 1, Faceless in the off-lane, Skywrath mid, and then double melee support. That would be kind of funky, but they've got a lot of flexibility here. And all right, looks like it will be 1437. Old Theban there playing on the Wraith King, so that'll be the support. Fogged will take the Skywrath, so probably a support Skywrath there as well. Korok on the Nyx Assassin means it'll be a solo mid Nyx. And what does that leave us with here? Snake King playing on the Void, and Brax on the Pugna. They may swap around a little bit. Usually it's Snake King that plays the position 1 and Brax in the off lane, which is a little bit different here. Off lane Pugna. It's okay, I suppose. I think the off lane Void is a lot better, but we'll see. They do have a lot of damage to dump into the Chrono, but not a huge amount. This isn't like the last game where we had a sniper with our Void, so maybe Snake King Void makes a little more sense here. He'll be farming up a Storm and go more of a traditional carry Void route rather than just rushing the Ags and being that utility Chronosphere carrier. So we'll see. A lot of options, a lot of flexibility for Na'Vi US. Generally the sign of a pretty darn good draft, but they have a lot of control. They've got a lot of stuns, a lot of magic damage, and also a fair bit of pushing power. Not a huge amount, but that Pugna is enough that whatever lane the Pugna's in, he should be able to chip at these towers. I still am a little skeptical that it'll be Brax solo top, but time will tell once we get out of this pause. Now let's talk about this Dire team, because their final pick, well, it deserves a little bit of love as well. We got a Huskar, guys. A Huskar to go with our Medusa. Medusa and Huskar on the same team, I'm skeptical. Now let's kind of look at a couple facets here, especially while we're stuck in this pause. Huskar is kind of in a weird place right now. He can be a very scary hero, especially if farm allows. I think Ag Scepter is really, really good on him. You can hop around in that life break. And of course, Huskar was buffed a little bit now that he works with lifesteal. It all stacks properly with that burning spear and whatnot. So he can actually be a little bit more scary now, maybe a bit more viable than he was, but I still think Huskar really shines in a game where you have a nice healing support, whether it's an Abaddon to buy him a little bit of time with an Aphotic Shield, or a Dazzle with a Grave, or anyone that can give him some sort of sustainability, a get-out-of-jail-free card, buff him up, give him something to move around with. Even a Wisp paired with a Huskar isn't so bad, but when you've got more aggressive focus supports, you know, your Earthshaker and your Shadow Shaman, I worry about this Huskar a little bit. Huskar is one of those heroes that wants to find that sweet spot of taking a lot of damage and being at low hit points, so he does more damage for not being too low that he just gets bursted down by a decrep Nether Blast. And when you have somebody that like a Dazzle that can keep him alive, it's pretty potent, So I don't really see the synergy necessarily with the Huskar, but we'll see how it works out. So how will the Dire side lane this here? It looks like it will be a safe lane tri-lane. Mario on the Shadow Shaman, way too sexy on the farming Huskar here. An exclamation man playing on the support Earthshaker for a safe lane try. In the mid, it will be Infinity playing on the Deuce. And in the off lane, that is Degenerate on the off lane Nature's Prophet here. So, looks like we get a little freebie. No? Oh, Fog. He wants the gold. There you go. Nice 20 gold bounty. Look at that. That is one rich Skywrath out of the gate. Clock that gold per minute. So Medusa mid, that's also a little bit interesting. I'm trying to think back. Have I ever seen a game? Have I ever casted a game with a solo mid Medusa? And I don't know, man. I guess it's okay. I don't have a big problem with it. I'm curious what build he's gonna go for as well. I'm curious all around, folks. I'm really this is odd from the Dire side, no doubt, but that's kind of what you need to do in a tournament like this. Again, to reiterate, it's an open bracket. These are all best of ones in the early round, so this is the time to do something crazy. If you're one of these kind of mishmash teams, you know, the Power of Friendship, Moto, whatever, this kind of group of friends that they're trying their hand here. If you're up against Navi US in one of the early rounds, you got to give them some credit for trying to do something a little bit different, thinking outside of the box and picking heroes we don't normally see. That said, this might be a little too far outside the box. Huskar and Medusa. If they win this one, I think Navi US will be rather discouraged. But it looks like we may have gotten some bad RNG here on this server. Stuck in pause after pause. Who was the last one? This is actually a Navi US pause here. Snake King having some lag issues. Little Snake King. What a nice guy. I like the Navi US guys. Spent a lot of time hanging out with them at TI4, Fogged and Korok in particular. Two really cool guys. Korok's a fun guy. He's pretty funny. Listening to them talk about like their team and strategy and all that stuff just really cracks me up. They're a fun group of gentlemen. That's for damn sure. For some reason, I always pegged Korok as this ultimate troll, but he's not nearly as trolly as I would have thought. IRL, that is. So, okay, how are Navi US going to lane this? It will be Snake King in the safe lane here on the Faceless Void, and it will indeed be Brax playing a little bit of off-lane Pugna, but the kicker is it looks like it will be an aggressive tri-lane. 1437 on the Wraith King, and it is Fogged playing on the Skywrath, and they will all be roaming about a bit here. The exclamation man on the high ground is Fogged, rotates towards mid, already giving Infinity a little bit of a run for his money there, harassing out the Medusa. Earthshaker starting boots first with 3 clarities, so I think no doubt about it, he will be roaming about the map. Fogged needs to be a little careful here. There's a Dire Ward down, he gets the block, and oh no, now Fogged in some trouble. Infinity coming in, looking for the body block, won't find it. There's the stun from Korok, and Fogged will be okay, but a close call, nice block from the Earthshaker. And that'll be the end of our first skirmish. So, Dusa versus Nyx Assassin, and he did go that first point in Mystic Snake. Ooh, interesting as well. We'll hold that thought, though, is up top, way too sexy. Getting harassed back. That was just one stun from 1437, and that was enough to push him out of lane. So we've seen a lot of Medusas just go for basically stats, maybe like a value point and split shot. I've seen some Dusas. We'll hold that thought as, oh, Brax, he's going to get blocked in. There's your first blood coming out. Exclamation man proves successful. And he'll finish off the Pugna to secure the first blood. With that, Brax just TPs right back, and we'll go back to farming. But there's a lot of different Dusa builds. We see some players go for early Mystic Snake, some go for a few early points in split shot, some just go for stats. Most of them grab a value point in Mana Shield and then leave it, and then don't level it up later on. I've seen a couple Dusas not get Mana Shield. I don't know. I don't know that there really is a tried and true like best Medusa build, because you see her so rarely and everybody has their own kind of take on what's ideal for her and where she's laning. But the Mystic Snake and Mana Shield early is just a little bit different here. It looks like Korok is doing okay, 4-2 against the 8-5 Dusa, so Medusa is finding the better of it out of the gate here. But exclamation man picked up that 2-minute rune. It is the invisibility, looking for initiation, and 1437 could be in some trouble here. Rotating over. Mario and Way Too Sexy. There's a nice block. Beautifully done. Way Too just going to lay into him as Mario throws down the shackles. This should be the second kill of the game. It'll be 2-0. And the Power of Friendship grabbing an early lead over Navi US. This is a little bit scary. The Huskar, the hero that I was a bit worried about, is a crazy YOLO pick without enough support. He is doing quite well. I don't know that it's a credence to the Huskar as much as it's a credence to the offlane. Pugna is rough. I mean, it's just difficult. These are not really, I don't know. This is tough. This is tough stuff. It would be a little bit easier for the Void up here because he has Time Walk. He can just Time Walk right over the fissures. But the two heroes they have up here, the Pugna and the Wraith King, they're just so susceptible to the fissure blocks. And, of course, that's exactly what we saw right there. So, Huskar off to the races. Medusa having a very easy time here in the mid. Now 15-6 versus the 9-4 Nyx Assassin. So, Infinity at least off to a good start. And he's going to need a lot more than this, but doing okay. He is bottle crowing for now, so just spamming the Mystic Snake makes a little more sense. I was thinking he may opt for just a super fast Midas here and just try and hit the ground running, but no. Going for a kind of a more standard mid play, just spamming that mana pool, and even grabs the early point in split shot. No stats added pre-level 6. Much different take on this hero. The real breadwinner of this game, though, is Mr. Snake King. He's been very quiet down here in the bottom lane, has that pro-man shield, and he is just farthing up a storm. Last hit leader, 22-10, and not too much the Nature's Prophet can do against him right here. The Treants just don't do much damage to the Void. You can't harass him out of lane because of the poor man shield. And we see Snake King not taking much pressure and doesn't feel the need to grab that value point and backtrack. I think the first value point is still warranted, kind of regardless, but going the much more aggressive build as he's just about to hit level 5. And we'll see where he goes from there. Mario in some trouble, though, takes a decrep, and he throws out some shackles, but in comes the follow-up damage, and oh boy, not surviving that one. The Shadow Shaman just gets destroyed. Now Way2 perhaps in some trouble. The Q from Pugna off the mark, but there's a stun from the Wraith King. A long-range fissure will interrupt it. Another great block. Now Degenerate comes up. They're going to try to turn this around. It's still a 3v3. A TP coming in, 1-4-3-7. He's out of mana, soon to be out of hit points. A few more right clicks, they'll bring him down. That's a 1-for-1 trade. And Team Moto, Power of Friendship, Team Mario, whatever you want to call him. Wowza. Still finding a good trade. Great reaction from Degenerate, though. Comes up to secure those kills and finds himself a little bit of extra experience. Again, the problem, gives Snake King a little bit of extra space. I'm rather curious what build he'll go for here. I think Snake King can get away with a Midas here. Even if he wants to go into Ags, he can definitely go for that Midas early on. Infinity in the mid lane will get dove upon. Korok finds him, and 1-4-3-7. TP's mid, makes the rotation a reality, and finishes off the Medusa. A much-needed kill for Navi US. Will give Korok some time to recover, and also Dusa taking a tumble will slow down her farm. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Brax continuing to struggle. He gets caught in the shackles and Way2Sexy just unloads the burning spears. Level 5, that's a level 3 burning spear, and not much a Pugna can do to survive that. That'll make it 2-4 here at the 5.5 minute mark as Snake King continues his reign of domination here on that bottom tier 1 tower. Korok looking for a courier kill. It is empty, but the Vendetta much worth it, and grabs his team a nice bounty there. No cargo worth, so not the craziest courier kill, but still good stuff for Navi US, no doubt about it. Well on their road to recovery, and here we saw the Power of Friendship looking like they were going to start to run away with it, but that gold lead they had is long gone as Navi US take about 500 gold in their advantage. It might go up a bit more as that courier gold updates, and about 1,000 experience going their way as well. Snake King now just about doubling the leading farmers in the game aside from himself. The two mid heroes tied at 23 CS apiece. Now that Korok has found some recovery. So he's sitting level 7, and the Medusa only level 6. So actually the tides have turned a bit here in this mid lane as Korok has taken over. Even just looking at that net worth difference. The courier and all this time to free farm. Poor Medusa. And this is part of the issue with Medusa, where I feel like it's a necessity to get some sort of a farm accelerator. Whether that accelerator is your team stacking Ancients for you and helping you clear them, getting an early hand of Midas, something. But I think the Midas is almost crucial here. Now the Medusa's taken a tumble. She's sort of fallen into the middle of the pack, and unless she gets some kills or does something, it'll be a rough road to recovery without a hand of Midas. Part of the other problem as well is you think, okay, well, maybe you don't need a Midas, but what are other ways you can recover? Well, we can team fight and get some hero kills. Well, Medusa's not going to be doing much damage until she gets some farm. So cross team fighting off the list for the most part. Maybe she can leech some experience, get a couple of auto attacks, but Medusa's not going to do the killing. And the other thing that you can do is knock down some towers. And, well, Medusa's not really so great at pushing either. She did just pick up a Basilius, so it looks like her team will group up and try and do some pushing earlier rather than later. But they also have the Nature's Prophet and the Shadow Shaman. So maybe these supports and the offlaner can try and knock down some towers and get this Medusa a little bit of gold boost so that she can start to recover. But off to a bit of a rocky start. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Na'Vi US already taken out a tier 1 tower. There is a glyph available, but the Power of Friendship will not opt to use it. Snake King, the one to actually grab the last hit on the tower. So he is starting to ball a bit out of control. 3.9k gold in terms of net worth up on him, and Power of Friendship won't find a tower exchange out of it. They chip at the tier 1 top, but they just don't have the pushing power. Shadow Shaman still not level 6, and Nature's Prophet is level 6 now, 3 points into Treants, but he still isn't really that scary either. Opted for the phase boots before the Hand of Midas, and still has not even picked up the Gloves of Haste. Snake King, what are you working on? He won't be going for the Midas this game. Okay, looks like Na'Vi US just want to stay aggressive and take this game by brute force here in the mid game. Power tread straight into the Morbid Mask, and probably a Mask of Madness coming out for Snake King. And yep, Archie Blows coming out on that baby Roshan. Brax is recovering a little bit, about 1,100 gold up on him. Brown boots and Ring of Protection, but oh, here's Big Daddy Korok. Double damage and Vendetta. They want Wei2, and whoa, Wei2's going to make it easy for him. He's going to hop forward, and that's a Q from Brax. He'll decrep himself. This should be easy. Korok connects with the stun, and easy kill on the Wei2. Now Degenerate TP's up. He secures the kill onto the Pugna, but Korok might be able to make a kill happen here. Does he have a stun available? No. Oh, man. How unfortunate. Mario, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. Void will secure a kill as 1437 and Snake King commit for it. There is no Chronosphere available. He did use it for that last fight. Oh, no. Pops the Mask of Madness at the worst time possible. He takes all the damage from the fissure. Tries to hop into the trees to TP home, and that one last auto attack from Dusa is enough to finish him off. I think he might have survived without that Mask of Madness. That was a pretty close call and just an unfortunate time to take all of that extra damage. Wow. Just bad luck there for Snake King a bit. Timing couldn't have been worse. Meanwhile, in the top lane, though, Na'Vi US will chip away at this tier 1 tower and get it down to about half health as Wei2 TP's back in. And got a nice lane ward down here for the Radiant side, so they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. They see Exclamation Man, and with that, they will turtle up in the trees. It is just Brax and Theban down here right now. Looking for an opening, perhaps. Nature's Prophet, they scout it out. They know he's there. Problem is finding the opening. They may still hide in the trees, wait for this creep wave to come down, and then wrap around and try and gank him. Let's take a look at the Radiant Vision. So they don't have vision of the Ancients here, but they see him backing up, and nope, they won't go for it. So taking a gander again at the charts, 2,000 gold, about 500 experience for Na'Vi US. Nothing crazy, but still a nice little lead for themselves. Korok goes right back to the mid lane, farming away. Only about 6 CS behind this Medusa. Infinity is farming okay. And it's not great, it's not bad. Has Power Treads now and Ring of Aquila, so starting to come online a little bit with those initial core items, but CS isn't really that crazy. Faceless Void is finding a lot more farm than she is, and oh, that fissure just off the mark. They might have been able to secure a kill there, but the Wraith King is level 6, so easier said than done to kill him twice. Tier 1 tower still standing. Na'Vi US could have TP'd in to try and turn it around, so maybe a blessing in disguise that fissure just fell a little bit short. But anyhow, this is part of the reason you don't see Medusa mid all that often, because your mid hero generally needs to move around a little bit more. You can't just sit there farming away. Mario in the top gets caught in the chrono, and they drop the hammer as the Mystic Flare comes down. Easy kill for Snake King. Now they'll go on to Wei2, gets a time lock. No mana available for the time walk, but they should have enough damage here. Wraithfire Blast comes through, and that'll be a 2-for-0 in the top lane. Double kill for Snake King. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Brax gets dove, and this should be a kill for the Power of Friendship. He does buy himself some time, throws out a decrep, drops the Q, also the health drain. Not enough to stay alive, but does a lot of damage to Infinity, who did pop the Stone Gaze as well. And maybe the Power of Friendship can now grab a tier 1 tower kill out of this. Tower, very low on hit points, but Na'Vi US, or very high on hit points, pardon me. Will take him a while to knock it down. Na'Vi US just chipping away at the top tier 1 tower, and they should be able to kill this tower and have plenty of time to TP home and make a defense if they are so inclined. Korok down bottom, scouting it out, trying to tell if they're going to make a defense or if they're going to commit to the bottom push, and they will indeed make a defense up top. Fog gets initiated upon, Wei2 leaps in from afar, and they secure a kill onto the Skywrath Mage, but not too bad for Na'Vi US. They minimize their losses. It's just a support Skywrath after all. Meanwhile, down bottom, Korok and Mario going blow for blow. Korok with a beautiful stun, connects on 2, and now he will try to make the escape. A great Spike Carapace as well, returns some damage to the Exclamation Man. Thinking about turning around, the Echo Slam does connect. Do they have the damage though? Mario just can't bring him down. Stout Shield coming in handy there, and Korok will survive. as he goes back to farming before he heads back to the base.
Dire's middle tower is under
Pandemitis
attack.
now up on the Nature's Prophet, 12 minutes, very delayed, but will finally be able to use it. Maybe Degenerate can start to come online here and knocking down some towers. I think that's the big bottleneck for the Dire side right now. Shadow Shaman still not level 6. Oh, Mario. He is about one creep kill away, but they need these roster wards. They needed these roster wards 4 minutes ago so they could take these team fights and possibly start taking towers. But now Na'Vi US just have so much momentum. That's the end of the Tier 1 towers for the Power of Friendship. 3-0 in total tower count. The snowball is rolling. The snowball is rolling. Snake King getting scary. Has the, pardon me. So that's a Handamitis. He's got the Gloves of Haste, Mithril Hammer, and now working towards the Maelstrom. A little bit of the Chain Lightning coming around here. Pretty standard stuff on the Void. Very core item on him if you're going for that more carry-focused position 1. I'm going to do all the damage kind of build. The attack speed and all the damage. Just so damn good. We will see an Armlet now picked up on the Huskar. Still no lifesteal on him, but Armlet a very good item on the Huskar. Synergizes well with all that damage he can put out. Mario finally level 6, so Mass Serpent wards will be a reality in this team fight. And will they find the initiation? 1437 out in the front lines. Na'Vi US with plenty of reinforcements around the backside, and they will initiate onto the Wraith King. Again, he has the ultimate available, so even if he falls, I don't think Na'Vi will be too upset about it. Korok's just farming away in the bottom. He's got Tranquil Boots now, Blink Dagger, and it looks like working towards a Force Staff with that second Ring of Regen. And that's pretty much it for the core items right now. Maelstrom just completed on Snake King, though he was damn close to it moments ago. No big surprise there. Fog has been able to pick up his Arcane Boots, and we'll put a fresh ward down here at the top rune on the highest peak above the river. How's Infinity looking? Only 600 gold up on him. Now picked up the Bracer, maybe moving into a Drum of Endurance. Could also just be a casual Bracer, but he seems to be going for more of like an early game like fighting Medusa, more so than this like Handamitis, heavy farming, hit critical mass. So it seems that the Power of Friendship are pretty keen on what Na'Vi US want to do here in terms of being aggressive in the mid game. But is this build going to be enough to make up for what Medusa lacks in the mid game? Korok will find a solo kill on the Nyx, or with the Nyx Assassin on the Shadow Shaman. Very easily done there. Scouted it out, saw there was nobody nearby, and well, just an easy pickoff. Anytime you're killing Shadow Shaman with his wards still on cooldown, it's just good news. They're keeping this Shadow Shaman completely neutered right now. He hasn't dropped a single Mass Serpent ward yet. And we're at the 15-minute mark. That is a travesty. They haven't knocked down a single tower. They haven't even really done any damage to any of these towers, which is a big problem when you have a Nature's Prophet and a Shadow Shaman on your team. So Na'Vi US, the tower gold really kicking in, but now finally grabbing some experience edges. They find some more kills. 7-8 as Power of Friendship have found some okay hero kills, but it's the map objectives and the farming where they've really starting to fall behind. They do have that one Midas advantage, but too little too late isn't the right phrase, but certainly isn't too much too early. Up in the top lane, though, Snake King just going hard on this tower. Gets it down to about half health as the Power of Friendship are all turtled up in the mid. They've got 4 heroes here. Nature's Prophet, oh, pardon me, way 2 on the Huskar just farming in the bottom lane. They will smoke up, maybe moving into Roche, maybe looking for a wraparound here. Na'Vi US have all 5 in the Dire jungle, so we'll see where they want to go. All right, first Mass Serpent wards come down, and it is in the Roche pit. So they do something a little sneaky here. Na'Vi US, they seem privy to it, or at least skeptical that there could be some trickery afoot. Korok very cautiously moves into the pit. They'll find the initiation. They find Infinity. Chronosphere comes down, and that'll be a kill onto the Medusa. Roche still at about half health, and way 2 now going to be the target of choice. He gets silenced. Skywrath drops the ultimate just for a solo kill onto him, and there's the leap forward. Can he bring down Fog? Yeah, he sure can before he goes down. It's a 1 for 2, but it's not over yet. Snake King caught inside of the shackles, and he will fall. It's a 2 for 2, and actually the Dire side looking like they might be able to take this fight. Buyback onto Korok, and the Pugna will fall as well. Now, 1437 back in the action. Medusa did have to buy back for this, so that was really the reason they were able to take this fight. A worthy buyback from Medusa. I missed it right as it happened, but really needed. They want to secure this Roche. Korok coming in, and he has the Spike Carapace on, throws a stun, connects with the exclamation guy. Right now, Korok just trying to bide time, trying to do everything he can to stop them from focusing on Roche and give his team time to TP to that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. He's doing a damn good job as well. Has a Vendetta available, saving it as long as he can. Will throw out another stun. There was a double stun lineup there, but Nope, won't go for it. There is a dire sentry, so he needs to be careful. Korok knows it. But all well worth it there. That Korok both buybacks were completely necessary and worth it. Medusa helped turn that fight around as she came back to the party, and Korok, he stopped the dire side from just getting a free Roche with his trickery. So now we may see a skirmish break out around the Roche pit. Korok vendetted up, finds the courier. But they saw him. He got too close to the tower, and they will move the courier to the other side. Oh, they throw down a sentry. Great control of Chappie the Honorless Baboon. And Korok's efforts will be unsuccessful. Now Roche under contestment. Who's going to get it? It does go down to the Radiant. Snake King is the one to grab it. Wards come out, and they will get a kill onto 1437, but there's your Chrono Spear. Mystic Flare comes out, just does a little bit of damage. Korok with a double stun. Na'Vi US just in retreat mode. Snake King looks like he'll survive. Korok might not be so lucky. He gets hexed up, gets hit by the fissure, and he will fall. It costs them 2, but Na'Vi US do secure the Roshan, and they walk away with the Aegis still in tow. Just barely, but Snake King does survive by the skin of his teeth. This is a little bit scary. Somehow, the power of friendship. They're behind on gold. They were behind on experience, but they're doing it. They're holding steady. Medusa's now level 11. She's been joining the fights, and this is a completely different playstyle on Medusa from Infinity. But it's working, at least for now. They're doing okay. A shame they couldn't get the Roche. The roster wards went down. A little bit of just, close your eyes and hope for the best. And they didn't come out ahead on the Roshan. Had they sniped that Roche last hit, could have been pretty big. That could have been the beginnings of a turnaround. Tier 1 tower in the mid does fall, so they do find some objective out of it, and that will put a dent in the gold graph, now only about a 2,500 gold lead, and while I'm looking at graphs, see a dive down here. Skywrath gets picked off by Degenerate, who, oh my gosh, that's a Dagon out on the Nature's Prophet. A level 2 Dagon at that. He went Hand of Midas straight into Dagon. This is so unconventional from the dire side. Just the whole kit and caboodle. Huskar and Medusa and Dagons left and right. If they win this, man. If they win this. Oh, boy. Infinity, invisibility rune up top, Mystic Snake, and there's a teleport from Degenerate. This is a kill. They'll bring down the Wraith King, and now Snake King comes in. He's forced to not look at Medusa. She pops the Stone Gaze, and they'll just walk back to safety. Courier gets pinged out again by the Radiant side. Maybe they can find a pick off. Korok is nowhere inbound, but Chronosphere comes down onto Degenerate. Snake King, he's angry. He wants vengeance, and he'll find it. Mystic Snake comes out, way too sexy, hops forward. They'll jump onto Snake King. Do they have the damage to bring him down? Life drain from Brax, and that's the end of Snake King. That'll proc the Aegis. Brax taking a lot of damage as well, but they won't commit for it. Way too, toggling the armlet, and he'll be okay as he pops that Inner Vitality as they walk backwards. So that burns the Aegis, and it's still a 1-for-1 trade. Not bad for the power of friendship. This Huskar is starting to get a little bit scary. Let's take a look at hero levels. And yeah, this Nature's Prophet starting to get scary. No, oh, Snake King, he'll get caught in the shackles. Out comes the Mystic Flare, does a lot of damage. Whoa, my God, that way too sexy leap. He's flying across the map. That guy's got a jetpack. Oh my God, what cosmetic is that? I didn't know Huskar could fly. Cheese and crackers. That was a twofer. Not 2-for-0, not even a 2-for-1. Great bit of initiation from the power of friendship, but Jesus, that leap. Whew. Flying across the map. Korok, though, now he's the one that's hungry for vengeance. Uh-oh. Degenerate TP's in. There's a sentry ward down. Korok, oh no! He's going to walk right into it. He'll get caught in the shackles. An easy kill for the dire side. Now 19-11. This is starting to look a little disastrous. This graph is dipping way in favor of the dire side. The power of friendship is taking the experience lead, and this gold graph will start to level out, especially as these Tier 1 towers begin to fall. Na'Vi US, this is best of 1. This is elimination. This is getting scary. Look at the disparity in the net worth chart. There isn't one. That's what we're talking about. Snake King was #1 by a huge margin early on, and part of the reason I thought this is a perfect game for a Hand of Midas. Snake King had so much room. They had those early towers, and usually one would say, oh, he's greedy. He got the Hand of Midas, but I'd almost say the opposite here. He got greedy and didn't get the Hand of Midas. He got greedy and said, oh, we're going to just go damage. We got this, guys. And I mean, obviously Na'Vi US wanted to fight a lot in the mid game, and Midas doesn't really synergize with that. But now that they're not really far ahead like they were in the early game, and they're not balling out of control, they need some kind of a farming tool to keep up with this Medusa, who's starting to nip at his heels a little bit. Also, the Nature's Prophet and the Huskar. Farm starting to look a little bit more lopsided. There's a Blink Dagger now up on the Earthshaker. He's only level 8, but still a very scary item in the hands of that hero. Old Mario here, only level 9 as well, but Rasta wards. Does anything else need to be said? They will smoke up, move around. Roche is not respawn, won't be up for quite a while, but Where's the power of friendship going with this? An illusion rune down in the bottom lane. They will put a ward down. They see Korok. They're going to go for him. He'll get hexed up. There's an Echo Slam just for Korok. Wards come down as well. They really wanted that kill. Now they'll find Brax as Degenerate TP's forward. Fog comes in. Wants the counter kill, and he'll get it. It's a 2-for-1, and still the power of friendship come out ahead. Not the best use of the roster wards there, but still okay. 1-4-3-7 needs to be a little bit careful here. Can he find the hex? Nope, can't get in range. No Blink Dagger on the Shadow Shaman quite yet. But space created this whole time. Infinity is just pressuring the bottom lane. And this tier 1 tower will fall. Medusa gets the last hit. And now her farm a little bit more potent. 2,200 gold up on her. She's not too far away from a Manta style. Oh my gosh. Hero levels. Power of friendship. Pushing it to the limit. Huskar, what are you working on here? Now the Helm of the Dominator comes out. So using that new change to the lifesteal. Just a casual Ogre Club for now. But probably a BKB, could also be an Ag Scepter. I mentioned before, Ag's a very good item on Huskar. No, it's going to be a Sange. Okay, looks like he might go either Halberd or SNY. Well, there's only 2 items that you can make with a Sange, but going for the Sange here. So we'll just tank up a little bit, up that HP pool, and SNY, a pretty damn good item on Huskar as well, especially when you're taking a lot of mid-game fights, as they seem to be doing here in this match. Infinity farming up the Ancients. Not really stacking them, but they do have an Alpha Wolf here. Oh, look how smart this is. The Helm of the Dominator from the Huskar, giving this Medusa a nice little bit of extra damage there from the pack leader's aura, helping her farm those Ancients that much more effectively. And then also using the Wolf to stack the Ancients. I like this team. The power of friendship. Way too sexy. Way too good, more like it. Degenerate, what are you working on, my man? I know it's something crazy. That is a level 3 Dagon. 1,000 gold up on him. Is he just going to go straight level 5 Dagon? It looks like it. Who gets to level 3 and then stops and goes conventional? Nobody. Nobody. Once you're at 3, you're pretty much all in on the Dagon sphere. Let's hit the F5. Take a look at Navi US. How's the item progression going here? Looks like the Wraith King went back for a Hand of Midas. Interesting. So 1-4-3-7. Recognizing the game is slowing down, he's going to have to play more of a secondary carry role as the Void won't be enough for it. Looks like he is going to start farming towards an Armlet following that Hand of Midas. And, oh, there it is. Delivered on the Courier as we speak. So that's a nice big core item up on him. The BKB is now just about complete on the Void as well. Oh, it is complete, pardon me. It does have the recipe and just needs to have it delivered via the Courier. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane falls, and Tier 1 in the top lane falls as well. This Tier 2 is still standing, but let's take a look. Total tower count now is going to be 5 for Navi US on the Radiant, and Dire have killed but 3 towers. So 5-3 in total tower count, starting to level out a little bit. We will see some initiation here as Brax gets caught in the Dire Ancients. Mario in some trouble. He'll get dropped by Fog as the Mystic Flare comes out. Brax looking to TP home. Echo Slam used to interrupt it as he was decrepified, and they'll be able to click him down and make it a 1-for-1. Shadow Shaman for Pugna. Checking the Roche, and nope, not even at the RNG facet yet. But the power of friendship still finding good exchanges. It seems every fight we've seen, it's either an even trade or the Dire get an extra kill or an extra objective out of it. Navi US did a great job knocking down these initial towers, but where do you go from here? They need to find some pickoffs, and yeah, they have some damage to dump into the Chronosphere, but unfortunately Wraith King is not a great secondary carry to be paired with the Void, because you can't really, unless you catch him right on the edge of the Chronosphere, he can't really do much damage while they're stuck inside the Chrono. Snake King with 1,500 gold up on him following the BKB pickup. But the bigger item, I think, at least for now, is Way 2 now with a Sange and Yasha. So he's tanking up a little bit, getting some more damage, and he's just all around scary. This Huskar is not someone I would want to tango with at this stage of the game. So we've got an even game on our hands here, folks. I thought this would be a bit more of a blowout, given we didn't know too many people on the Dire side, but Navi US need to make something happen. And this is another stage of the game where they've been spending a lot of time with this Chronosphere off cooldown, and I think they need some kills. They need to start clawing their way back into this game, and more importantly, they need to start shutting down this Medusa. She's not at critical mass, but she's farming very, very well, and maybe this is that time. They are grouped up around the top lane here, and no, they will just back up. Navi US will rotate towards the mid lane. Maybe they'll just take out this big fatty Ancient stack. Looks like a nice triple stack here for the Radiant side. Yeah, they'll just go back to farming, but I think they need to try to utilize this chrono to slow down the farming of the power of friendship, because that's going to be their big problem. They don't have that many farming tools, and Medusa is one of those snowball heroes that as she gets more farms, she also farms faster. That's true with most heroes, but Medusa more so because of the split shot, an ability that certainly scales very well. Borderline useless early on, but quite good in the later portions of the game. Power of Friendship are sharing the farm pretty effectively. They've been utilizing Ancients between Nature's Prophet as well as the Medusa pretty well. Gem now picked up by Korok. A pretty big pickup for him. He's been picked off a few times. And oh, we're going to hold that thought. There we go. Chrono finally dropped. Mystic Flare used to finish off the Shadow Shaman, and they'll catch the Medusa. That's what I'm talking about. That is what Navi US need to do and keep doing. Use that Chronosphere. It's a pretty short cooldown. About to be shorter as Snake King is almost level 16. And as soon as that happens, just move around. Use your cooldown. Stay aggressive. You can be that aggressive Void and keep the other team on the back foot. Make them cautious. Make them afraid of you. Make them constantly wonder, is that ultimate off cooldown? Should I be scared right now? That's what you want to do. Be a bully. And oh, with that, Roche respawns. It was a 55-second Roche respawn following the initial timer. So a little bit of luck here for the Radiant side as Roche comes up just in the nick of time. 1437 will get picked off in the bottom lane, but a little bit of space creation. Well, and as I say that, I'm looking at the wrong spot here. We can see a pick off in the top as Korok soloed the Nature's Prophet. One of the reasons for the Nyx Assassin pick here, one of the best heroes to deal with Rat Dota split push of the Nature's Prophet. So I thought lucky for Navi US if they could have finished off the Roche there, but unfortunately they just didn't have the damage and too split around the map. Now the Dire side will just move right into the Roche pit, way too sexy, just chipping it down, and this should be a pretty easy Roche kill. Chronosphere down for 20 seconds, and Wraith King down for another 20 as well. They won't even try to contest it. Roche will fall, and it is an Agent of the Immortal going the way of Huskar. Mjolnir picked up for Faceless Void, and he is now level 16, so he is still continuing to find some momentum. He's got a huge Ancient stack here to play around with, but that's going to hurt. I really thought that was going to be lucky for Navi US. I thought they'd try to commit more to that. But smart play from the Dire. Can they kill this Huskar twice? We still haven't really seen a lot of the huge, like, 5-on-5 engagements. Really the last, not this Roche, but the first Roche in this game. The big skirmishes. But it's been these kind of smaller skirmishes, you know, where Huskar has been able to kind of capitalize on all of his damage. But in a big team fight, I worry a little bit here. I think Navi US are in a little bit more trouble than this graph reflects. A lot of it does come down to initiation, though. If the Power of Friendship get the jump on Navi, they're in good shape. But, of course, if Navi US use their Void to get the jump on the Dire, then they should be able to take the team fight. So this is one of these games that as we move well into the mid-game and start getting closer to the late game when these carries take over, initiation is really key. Especially with Shadow Shaman not getting close to a Hex. I was thinking, or pardon me, a Blink. I was thinking he might be almost there. 800 gold. Still pretty far away. But, whoa, daddy, what was that? Sorry about that, folks. But they do secure this tier 2 tower kill in the bottom lane. And now only a 1 tower disparity for in favor of the Radiant. So Void's still holding on to the #1 farming slot. But there are 3 red heroes right below him. Huskar and Nature's Prophet just continuing to get big. That's a level 5 Dagon and now a Ghost Scepter on the Nature's Prophet. So Degenerate, what does this guy think he's a tinker? A Dagon into E-Blade build? Whoa. It's really interesting. You really don't see this from Nature's Prophet too often. I mean, I have seen Nature's Prophets rush the Dagon and just try and get kills with it and then use that to kind of snowball. That's something, but the E-Blade with Dagon is pretty crazy. They just want to burst them down, I guess. It's kind of a, not quite a single core, but single core-ish with this Void. If they can lock down the Void before the fight starts, if they catch him with a Hex and then they can E-Blade, Dagon, and then follow up with all their other magic damage and take him out before the fight really starts, that's kind of your golden ticket to a victorious team fight. So maybe that's what they're hoping for here. Way too sexy in the top lane. Will get initiated on by Korok. Opens with the stun. Now the follow-up is there. Wraithfire Blast coming through. And way too sexy. May try and turn it around. We did miss a kill in the bottom lane while this was happening, but way too will fall. He is the Aegis carrier here, so he'll be coming right back up. 1437. Armlet toggling. Does have his ultimate available as well. Mystic Flare is there, ready and waiting. Degenerate TP's in, but nothing he can do. The rest of his teammates are on the way. And, well, this time they'll be able to Drop the Wraith King with the Dagon, but of course has the ultimate, comes right back up. And now Infinity maybe bit off more than he can chew. He's on the run. Mana Shield helping him out, but now he'll get Decrep. And this should be an easy kill on the Medusa. He ends up just being a feed. They had the right intentions, trying to save their good buddy Huskar, but unfortunately, all they do is waste the Wraith King ultimate. Now, what they did do is pick off this Faceless Void. In the bottom lane, they were able to gank him and drop him. He didn't pop his BKB or his Chronosphere, so he didn't really lose out on much. Still has those big cooldowns. 10-second BKB still available. So it was a 1-for-2 across the map, but Radiant side came out way ahead. They killed 2 carries and gave up only 1. Wraith King, though, he found a good bit out of that, and now an Assault Karas. So 1437, his Hand of Midas has actually really come in handy here. He's come online as this secondary carry, and he's starting to hurt. He's starting to hit hard, and he hits fast.
Tower is under attack.
Medusa, though, has now picked up the Maelstrom. So she is starting to do more damage. Hasn't quite come completely online yet, but 30 minutes is usually that time when the carries start to get a little bit more potent, and the casters start to fall off a little bit. Fogged now, just on a 4-staff. Pretty standard support, Skywrath type stuff. But what I want to know is, when is this Shadow Shaman getting a Blink Dagger? That is really huge for the Dire side. Right now, they don't have a lot of long-range initiation just to hop on one of the carries, like the Hex. I mean, you can use the Earthshaker if you want to hop in, but he sort of wants to sit back and wait for the Echo Slam after the other team is already committed, not be the one that starts things off, because he also doesn't have the damage just to shut down the Void. But if your Shadow Shaman hops in with a Blink, hexes the Void, the rest of your team can follow up, and you actually have a good chance at dropping him because of that super, super long instant cast disable. 3.5 seconds spent as a chicken. So that's really a big item to pick up for the Power of Friendship, one that they are waiting for undoubtedly. Maybe that'll be their sign to get a little bit more aggressive here. 4-staff up on exclamation point man, and way to looking at probably an Assault Karas here to go with his Hypersone. So all about the attack speed on this Huskar. And probably one of the last pieces he'll get is just to upgrade that Helm of the Dominator and move into a Satanic. But Navi US smoked up. Snake King looking for the opening. Let's zoom out here, take a look at the positioning around the map. Way to Infinity and Exclamation Man huddled around the tower, and Rasta is in the mid lane. So Navi could have an opportunity to jump here. They need to focus the Medusa, but if they can catch 2, that's ideal. And there you go. That's your Chrono. It only catches 1, but it is Infinity, and that's your money target. Mystic Flare comes down. They drop it. Way to disabled for the duration. Now on the back foot. Void hops forward. That'll finish off the Shadow Shaman. Now return damage coming out on 1437. Pops the mech, has his ultimate available. Defensive decrep comes out. A little bit of damage onto way 2, just tickles him. And Rasta Ward's just completely wasted. He falls, but they do next to nothing. And they'll be stuck on cooldown. Radiant side don't even farm him up, so I guess it could be worse. But a good fight for Navi US. The exact initiation they were looking for. And as I said, it's all about the initiation. Who gets the jump on who? It should be pretty telling. If they get a Chronosphere and lock down the carry, that's great. If Void gets jumped on, then, well, he'll probably fall. The real victory there, I think, is killing the Shadow Shaman, because that pushes him further away from his Blink Dagger, and he's now 35 minutes in. Oh, if he had that Blink a while ago, this would be a much different game. Korok taking a lot of damage. Spike Carapace just a little too late, but he will survive. Skywrath coming in, dropping the hammer onto Degenerate, and not enough for the kill, but a very close call. 150 hit points left on him. They're looking around for Korok. They've got the gem, and they'll be able to bring him down. Wrath of Nature flying through, and they get a gem for that as well. Double gem now up on the Earthshaker. That's a pretty big kill, actually, for the Power of Friendship. A nice net worth swing as they catch the Radiant Gem Carrier. There is some space creation here, though, and with that, Brax will pressure the top lane. He is in pretty deep. Glyph available for the Dire. I don't think he's going to be able to secure this tower kill. Whoa! Snake King off to the side. He grabs a kill onto the Shadow Shaman. A solo kill, but again, pushing Mario further away. Oh no, losing more of that unreliable gold. A very close call on the Pugna as he does TP home. Brax almost takes a tumble, but end of the day, they just find a free kill on the Shadow Shaman. Again, that value target, 1,200 gold on him. Still a lot of unreliable gold to lose, so just rough stuff. So Void has the Oblivion Staff here, and it looks like Snake King may be angling for a refresher. We talked about it towards the end of that last game, and of course, there was just a casual Ring of Health, and I wasn't thinking it would be a refresher. I'm not huge on the refresher Void. It's not the worst thing ever. I just think the Ags is a little bit better. It's a little bit cheaper. It gives you more stats, and it gives you just more utility. If you one of those things where it just lowers the cooldown. The more chronos you use, it's sort of the more utility that you get from it. Like the more time is saved. Whereas the refresher, it just has such a long cooldown. The refresher is really good for if you want that like game-ending, just back-to-back chrono. We wiped your whole team. They buy back chrono, wipe them again. That's when refresher is really, really good. And Ags is better if you just want to have more consistent team fights in smaller intervals. You know, every minute to minute and a half, you want to try and gank someone, or the other team's pushing a lot. Every minute, minute and a half, you're going to need to defend a tower. That's where Ags really shines. The other problem with Refresher is just the mana pool. Void does not really have a huge mana pool, and Refresher takes a lot of mana. Chronosphere is only 200, but still, you've got to dump all of your mana to do the double chrono. So you can get caught with your pants down, not having enough left for Time Walk, and what have you. So we'll see where Snake King wants to go with this. Guess it could be an Orchid. No, we'll be cheeky, but no, probably going to be the Refresher. And a pretty rare pickup overall. I think Refresher's only been bought on Void. I was like, somebody linked me the Dat Dota. It's not a lot. It's like 10 times on the last patch, or the last few patches. It's not very common, for sure. But Navi US regaining some momentum this game. This gold graph kind of all over the place. I think pretty telling of the momentum in this game. But now Navi US have secured about a 4,000 gold and 7,500 experience advantage. Void still farming up a storm. And now it's this Wraith King, 1437. He really has come from behind. He started in the position 4. And this early Midas has saved the day. They will initiate on him. Does have the ultimate available. But he can stand his ground. Snake King coming in. That's a Mystic Flare. Wait till you're going to take a lot of damage here. Snake King doesn't commit for the kill onto Infinity. Instead, Fog gets picked off around the backside. They do secure the kill onto the Huskar. Now Degenerate will get picked off as he's isolated. Echo Slam flies, but doesn't do a hell of a lot. It is going to be a 1-for-2 exchange. Wraith King somehow still alive. The armlet toggling really working well for him here. Snake King looking for the kill onto Mario, but won't find it as the Fissure does split things up. So it is a 1-for-2 exchange. No buybacks expired. And that's where this fight will settle down. That is one tanky Wraith King, as now Navi US move towards the base, and they'll start chipping at the high ground here. Another ward just, or pardon me, another blast just getting spammed out here by the Pugna. And this tower falling very quickly, 1437. This is the, since he still has the ultimate, he can afford to just tank the tower here. And they'll go straight for the racks. Infinity doesn't have the ultimate. It's already been popped. So Navi US just don't have a care in the world. Huskar, not even close to it. Nature's Prophet does have one, but only so much he can do. Bottom lane of racks will fall. Mario gets caught. It is Nyx Assassin that secures that kill, and now the Shadow Shaman will buy back as he gets picked off. Say goodbye to your Blink Dagger money. We're right back to where we started. That's 120 gold on Mario here, and I'm not really sure what the plan for that buyback was. He does have Rasta wards available. Roche gets pinged out, so perhaps the Dire team will try and contest Roche if Navi US move into it, but kind of an odd, like almost a rage buyback coming out from Mario there. Maybe they were thinking that they could take a fight and Exclamation Man could catch someone on the retreat, but nope, they won't find anything out of it. Well, this is third Roche, and there's your Refresher on Void. So, okay, let's take a look at some of the mana stuff. That was my big thing. So, 375, and you multiply that by 2. That's 750. Or no, I looked the wrong. That's one. Multiply this one by 2. That's 400. So yeah, 370 or 775. That's his entire mana pool. It's just a little bit of a problem. You can do both chronos, but it's literally your entire mana pool. So he could switch the boots to int as well. That'll give him a little bit of extra. He doesn't even have a wand here, so he can't pop the wand charges if he needs to do one of those just YOLO time walks to get the hell out of there. We'll see how it works for Snake King though. This is again, like I mentioned, sort of a statistical rarity where a Void actually gets to complete the Refresher. There's an Abyssal now picked up on the Wraith King, so he hurts. Roche falling pretty quickly here. We can go ahead and zoom out and take a look at the positioning. Dire on this side of the river. They have the high ground. Korok will scout it out, and now we see the fight breaking out. Snake King coming in, grabs Exclamation Man. Earthshaker will fall before he can pop the ultimate. The rest of the Dire moving into the pit. There's a Chrono coming out, and that's going to be your second Chrono as well. Void will finish off the Shadow Shaman. Earthshaker is now bought back, but they're going straight for Infinity. Way 2 taking a lot of damage as well. 1437 can just go man mode with him, and down they go. The 2 carries from the Dire side have fallen, and now it's just the Earthshaker that bought back, and he will scoot down. Picks up, what does he grab? Nothing. It's over. GG, well played. Navi US, they take it. And the Refresher worked. He got 2 chronos, and they won the team fight. So there you go. Team Moto, Mario on the 1 is what it stands for, and in the brackets they are tagged up as crap. What are they tagged up as? It's sort of a silly name. Crap, I closed my spreadsheet by accident. Oh, Power of Friendship. Derp. That's their name in the bracket. So these teams having some fun with their names, of course, but that'll do it. Navi US, they escape by the skin of their teeth. Kind of a close game. Maybe a bit too close for comfort, as it were. But they make it on to the next round. So Team Tinker and Navi US still in it to win it. That's it for our I-League coverage today, though, guys. I was slated to solo cast. Thank you so much for joining us here on BTS1. I believe Starladder coverage is coming up next. I am not the one casting it, but it is the SEA preseason. I think Lysander is casting either on BTS2 or his channel right now. He may switch it over to BTS1 once his current game ends. Of course, follow all the social media guys beyond the summit on Twitter and Facebook, and you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook as well at Zyori TV. My Twitter, it's the same on Twitter and Facebook, is in the title of this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. It feels so good to be back, feeling a little bit rusty after having a month and a half off of casting from TI and then going on vacation, what have you, but it's a blast to be back, and oh, Dota, getting excited for this next season here following TI. It's already been a blast. But that's it for today, guys. Join us tomorrow for I-League. It starts again at the same time, 4 a.m. PST. That's 7 a.m. EST and or EDT, whatever, daylight savings. 4 a.m. Pacific Coast. I believe that it's like, I don't know, 6 in the evening Chinese time. It's all based on Beijing time. So take care, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.